conversation about the prints, three of which you now have on the walls. I wish we had more examples of your prints and your artwork on hand. We talked a little this morning on the phone about the technical difficulties of conveying the work from one venue to another. I hadn't realized that I might have gotten you to send me color JPEGs from your lab if I had asked. Nonetheless,
what did you say?
I could have got you to send pictures from your lab if I had asked you.
I don't use
do lab. I'm sorry I said that word.
Photos. They're called photos.
Yeah, photos. If I'd asked you to send photos from your lab, transparency. It was transparency. Photographs and prints.
Slides.
Slides. Real stuff. Anyway, I was too ignorant.
It's go pretty soon. You're gonna be disappeared too. All of it, it'll disappear because it's already good.
Nonetheless,
it's already good. The real tape.
She's already talking about the question.
No.
But the stuff online lasts longer than we think it does.
Oh yeah, but until somebody steals it or some
electric.
You didn't get there yet. You didn't get 50, 75 years from now yet.
And we don't know what it's
10 years.
But even 10 years ago, a lot of that stuff is gone.
Well, I just want to tell you, my grandmother's reel-to-reels and
Yes.
Super 8s and so forth are sitting on that corner. You're leaning on them.
But you don't have
Her projector and her camera is sitting over there waiting for its moment.
They're still electrified.
Waiting for its moment.
We just know what's still around.
But you may not know that those reel-to-reels are still around because they're still electrical. You should be sending JPEGs.
I just said that word, and see, that's what goes. That's not a word.
This is 1975, 70.
No,
they're still in mint condition. Slides are in mint condition.
Yeah.
My mother's film
I don't
she
think
shot in
Camille knows what a
56
JPEG
is still in mint condition.
It's like in Chinese.
Look, that film is still in condition, 1956.
Yes, it is.
Reversal film, still there.
No
but
question.
he may not be there. But the film will be there. So take a picture of yourself.
We're talking about technological obsolescence, and this is a big deal. It's a very big deal. And
this girl's got a film camera. Hey, there we
that's
go.
right, she does film. My niece does film. I don't know why it is that we feel like these new technologies are so permanent and so supportive, but there is absolutely no indication that they should be, that we should have the confidence in them that we have. Anyway, and I remember Pearl Bowser talking to me about that a lot. She said in 10 years, and it's now that, there's going to be so many different media and formats, many, many more than we could ever use on you. And you're going to have to make some decisions about which ones you're going to use. Nonetheless, you've already said a little bit about this. Could you talk a little bit about how you see the print work? What would you say about the relative prominence or lack thereof of the prints in your career? Because see, I'm trying to talk about the prints, but we ended up talking about photography. But let's talk about the prints. I know.
You mean graphics?
Yeah, you can talk about Bob Blackburn too if you saw so fit.
I studied with Bob Blackburn, Krishna Reddy, and Camille. And then later, I started collecting prints, and I have Bob's, and I have, especially the people who were around the beginning of the studio, the printmaking workshop. So I have Con Koppelman. He became escaped Nazi German, came over and started at Con Koppelman. Also, Bob, and also, what is it, that one that died? He was part of African American.
Somebody who died.
Yeah, he was part of that. So what my influence has gone to a man who collects down in Georgia. And so he now has a traveling exhibition of those artists. And Bob and Will Barnett and Han Koppelman. And we're going to get Norma Morgan. because she was really very hot up until the 60s, and all of a sudden she drops out.
Yeah.
And I think she drops out because, you know, her imagery, rocks and mountains, and we were doing black art, and so it was, then she did beautiful one mountain one, and she put Sojourner Truth in it, and everybody loved it. At the Black Art Fair. You know?
I do think that printmaking is going to be one of those things, one of the media that's going to survive and survive, as opposed to some of the more ephemeral things.
Well, if you do it on the right paper,
Yeah.
and has the right printer, you know, otherwise it's... But you see that when you see Swan Gallery auctions, old prints, and they're still there. Good paper, good ink, and good storage.
Swan Galleries is excellent. They have one of the auction houses that sells and specializes in a collection of African American art. And every year,
And memorabilia. They're two different...
they're just wonderful to follow them because not every auction house has a specialization. They do.
They're learning. We've been around. You know, you see holes. You know, you say, "What's that?" You know, it's funny little things, but it's important. And you can, you know, you can make some money. You
On a
can.
print.
I mean, they sold 2 or 3 of my prints that I printed at Bob's. I am black. I am black. I am dangerously black. I think I was selling them at $50 a long time ago. And they went off, and one they went off like 1900, another one went off at 2000.
Okay.
You know, the first edition.
Yeah.
You know.
And you can keep making them.
Oh yes, I love prints because they're cheaper than drawings, and they're not difficult like sculpture. You can make a lot of them. You just need those good patrons.
That's good. That's a good cut.
I know. It's becoming very organic. Isn't that nice the way we've done that?